Still people joining. All right. Okay. Emmy, are you co-host? No? Can I make you co-host?
Not yet. Yes, of course.
Because I don't want to miss anybody joining us. Okay. So we're going to start. Okay. I'm going to share screen. Okay, so welcome everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Carolina Talatinian. I'm the country coordinator for Education USA Argentina. And as I said before, happy International Education Week. We are celebrating International Education Week, International Education. If you're here, it's because you're interested in, making your education more international. So we're happy you're joining us. So today we're going to focus specifically on the Opportunity Fund Scholarship, and we're going to devote most of the time of this session to giving you advice about how to complete this application process, right? How to complete the application form for the Opportunity Fund Scholarship so that you can have more chances of being selected, right? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to tell you a little bit who we are. We're going to share the requirements and benefits of the Opportunity Fund Scholarships for next year, 2025 scholarship. We're going to devote a lot of time to the application form overview, right? We're going to go over the whole application form, and we're going to give you tips right from the successful, right from the advice will come right of those people who were successful at it, right? So we have the Opportunity Fund scholars from this year with us, who we will introduce in a minute. And then we'll have some time for questions. We are going to record this, and we are doing this in English, all right? So if you have any questions, if there's anything you don't understand, please write it down in the chat, and we'll deal with questions at the very end. Okay, so before starting, I'll stop sharing for a second, and I would like all the Education USA advisors to introduce themselves, say where they are from. Those of you who can actually do that, okay? So I see Valen there. I'm going to do this in order, okay? So Valen.
Hi everyone, my name is Valentina and I am an Education USA advisor in Aricana in the city of Rosario. So pleased to meet you.
And then Maria.
Hello everybody, my name is Maria. I am the Education USA advisor at the Binational Center Amicana in the city of Mendoza. Welcome.
Thank you, Maria. I see Kathy there, but she's not with video, so I don't know if she can actually, yes.
I can. It's just my video is being weird. I don't know, and I can't get it to stop. So I'm just without the video. But hi, everybody. My name's Kathy. I'm the Education USA advisor in Acicana in Santiago del Estero.
Thank you, Kathy. Elliot. Hey, Elliot.
Hi, Caro. I'm Elliot, or Eli, and I'm the advisor here in Córdoba at EE-CANA.
Thank you, Elliot. And last but not least, I think there's, Emmy here. Emilce.
Hey everyone, how are you? Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Emilce and I'm the Education USA advisor at ICANA, the Binational Center in the city of Buenos Aires.
Okay, so I'll leave you with Emmy for a short while. So I'll go back to sharing screen, and the floor is all yours, Emmy.
Great. So first of all, we wanted to tell you guys about us. For those of you who haven't had the chance to see or to know what we are doing. So Education USA is a US Department of State network. So we are advisors who are here to help you and guide you through the process of applying to US universities. There are more than 430 centers in around 170 countries. So it's a very, very big network. Our mission is to promote US higher education, and we offer accurate, comprehensive, and current information about studying in the US, right? We always say that we are like a bridge between US higher education institutions and students from Argentina who want to pursue their studies there. We are the official source on US higher education information, and the first webpage that we recommend you should visit is educationusa.state.gov. There you're going to find the program and official information about all the centers in the world, right? This page is in English, so there are a lot of information for you there. But if you want a more personalized experience and information in Spanish, which you can share with your parents, we encourage you to visit educationusa.org.ar. There you will find, again, a lot of info, and also very importantly, our centers, where they are located. We have the list here. You have met some of us. So there are 3 here in the city of Buenos Aires, but we also have some in Rosario, Santiago del Estero, Córdoba, and Mendoza, right? Even though these centers are located specifically in some areas of the country, we provide free advising services countrywide, right? So no matter where you are watching this from, please reach out to us and ask if you have questions or if you want to get to know a little bit more about our program. We also offer a lot of services. These are some of them. So very often you will find us giving information sessions every month. For example, we have a talk which is called the 5 Steps Talk. We try to explain how the complex process of applying to US higher institutions in a simple way by explaining the 5 steps you need to follow. But like that one, there are many, many more. We also have workshops with US higher education institutions. So these are university representatives that are willing to show you and share with you some tips, some recommendations on what you can do to improve your application to these colleges and universities. We have one-on-one meetings, which we call office hours. So you have the chance to reach to us directly, and we can get to know you a little bit and give you more personalized advice. We do this via Zoom. We also have some chances to connect in person in the centers, but we'll tell you more about that later. There are many resources we have to help you out. So there is reference material, we have models, we have web pages we can recommend to you. So there are a lot of things we can do to aid in this process. And last but not least, we have pre-departure help and orientation, some guidance on visa, and a lot more. All these services are free of charge. So if you have, again, if you have any doubts or if you have questions, please reach out and we'll definitely help. We're always glad to help. And today we're here to discuss how to fill out this form, which will give you the chance to apply to this scholarship program, which is called Opportunity Funds. Maybe you've seen some of these pieces in our social media, and we always try to tell you a little bit about our students. So here in this in this social media post, you can see Milagros Ruiz, who was an Opportunity Fund scholar in 2023, and she was accepted in Northwestern. So she's actually, and currently there, she's pursuing a degree. She's in her first year, and she's currently studying environmental engineering, right? So she's just one example that this is possible with our help, but also with a lot of effort. And today you're going to learn a little bit more about what it is, what Opportunity Funds is, and what you need, for example, to apply. So here you can read all the requirements. You can also find this in the educationusa.org.ar webpage, but just for us to go over them. The first one is to be an Argentine citizen, right? So you need to have the citizenship in order to apply. If you are a US, an American citizen, you cannot apply, right? But there are many, many other opportunities for you, not this one. You need to be graduating in November or December in 2025. So we will be working with you in your last year of high school. Your overall average needs to be at least 8 out of 10, right? Remember that this is a competitive scholarship, so 8 is one of the let's say minimum requirements for your average. So you have to be academically a very good student. You need to have and demonstrate leadership qualities. So we are going to ask you about your roles in extracurricular activities, what you do after school, if there are any sports you have been practicing over the years, if you play any instruments, whatever you do after school that is not obligatory, right? Of course, this point is very important, not to be able to afford the cost of applying to US universities. So this is a scholarship that is looking to aid people who cannot, who do not have the funds to do this, right? So this is very important. Also to have a very command of English. So we are using this scale, which is B2, but it's an upper intermediate level, right? So you need to be able to communicate, understand, and speak, because we are aiming at, well, studying in the United States, right? So you need to be able to understand a class in English, to follow your teachers, to interact with your classmates. So English level is very, very important. And you also need to have the desire and ability to complete a full 4-year undergraduate degree in the United States. Sometimes we see that some people are not, or some candidates are not convinced whether they would be willing to spend so many years, right, trying to do this in the United States. So this is something you need to take some time and think, right? This is a big commitment. So we encourage you to think about it. And then if you are willing to, we are definitely waiting for your application. So these are the benefits for the Opportunity Funds scholarship. This is what we're going to give in exchange. So you're going to have close guidance from Education USA advisors throughout the application process. As I said before, we will be working with you during your last year of high school, which can be and is a long time, but we promise that this is necessary, right? In every month and in every instance of the process, we're going to be there and we'll try to give our best advice, right? We're going to provide standardized testing fees. So we're going to cover those expenses for you. You have to sit for exams to prove your level of English, and some other exams that have to do with proving your how good you are academically speaking. So we're going to cover that. We're going to cover the translation of the academic documents. We're going to also cover the application process fees and the service fees. So this has to do with your visas and all the documentation you need to study in the US. We're going to help you make a list of universities you will be applying, right? So this is, if you haven't seen the 5-step talk, maybe this is a lot of new information, but it is not that you are going to apply to just one university, right? You're going to apply to a package of universities. So we're going to help you choose the ones that are your best fit, the ones that go with you. We're going to help you with well, we're going to give you and we're going to share with you our network, right? So you're going to be able to contact mentors, interns, and advisors in other countries, who have a lot of experience, and these are people that have worked together with us. They have had success stories such as this one, or the girl you saw in the previous slide. These are Opportunity Fund scholars from previous years. So, for example, the girl in the previous slide was Mika Chapuis. She was here she is. So she was an Opportunity Fund scholar in 2016. She was accepted in Stanford, and she studied marine biology, right? She was so successful and she liked that so much that she decided to continue studying in the US, and now she's pursuing a master's degree in Hawaii. So let's see. This can take you places, right? You just have to the first step now is to apply. Try to get into this program, and then life will decide where it takes you. We also cover the transportation expenses to the US, and a stipend. We're going to provide a stipend to settle in at the new university where you'll be studying, right? So again, this information is in the Education USA Argentina webpage, but this is just to refresh, and if you have any questions, of course, we're going to answer about this, right? The benefits, what you're going to get, and also the requirements, what you need to comply with.
Thank you, Emmy. Yeah, all the pictures you're going to see in this presentation you've been seeing, these are all students. Anto here in this picture, she was an Opportunity Fund student in 2020 in the pandemic. She applied and she got admitted to Johns Hopkins University. She's studying I want to say microbiology, a microbiology major or biology major. She keeps changing. That's a good thing. But she's there in her third year already, or fourth. I think it's third, or starting her fourth. I don't know. And then this other picture, it's Rocio from Tucumán. She's studying economics and political sciences in Harvard, right? So these are all Opportunity Fund students who were in the program, who are also mentoring other Opportunity Fund students. The other thing that you're going to see in the website is the calendar, the application calendar, right? These could change. This is subject to some changes, right? But as of now, this is how's the application calendar going to go? Okay, so Please have a look at it. Make sure that before sending an email, asking some questions, make sure that first it's not there in the website, because we try to put everything there. So there's an application period, which is a big part of the summer, right? Then halfway through the summer, we start reading your applications. I will start evaluating your application. Then there's another stage where we do interviews. And then there's a last stage, which is the Opportunity Funds Bootcamp, where we invite a limited number of students to participate during a week where we do different activities. And out of that bootcamp come the 4 candidates that are selected annually. Okay, so keep an eye on our social media. If there's a change in the schedule, we'll let you know through our social media. Okay, so yeah, so now's the moment where we're going to start plunging into the application form. That's with Anita Smile there. She was an Opportunity Fund student who's now studying in Stanford. She's from Mendoza. Before plunging into that form, we wanted to introduce you to our 2024 cohort of students. I've been in Education USA for 5 years, and this is the first time we have an all-women cohort. So this is this has been unique for us. So could you guys? I'm going to stop sharing for a second so that you can introduce yourselves. I'm going to go in order as I see you here in my screen. Mia, could you tell everybody your name, where you're from, and the majors you're considering?
Well, hello, my name is Mia. Sorry if some sounds are on the background because I'm still at school. But well, I'm 17 years old and I am from the province of Buenos Aires. I intend to study aerospace engineering or physics, either of those majors. And yeah, I am an Opportunity Fund student, and I really recommend it. It has been a great experience, guys.
Thank you, Mia. Now let's go to Martina Pascal.
Hi everyone, my name is Martina. I live in the city of Buenos Aires and I plan to study environmental studies and political science in the future at any university.
Thank you. Marty Fernandez.
Hello everyone, my name is Marty. I'm 19 years old. I go to a technical school in San Rafael, Mendoza, and I'm trying to apply to international relations or political science.
Thank you, Marty. And last but not least, Aixa.
Hello everyone, it's great to see you here. I'm Aixa, I'm 19 years old and I come from General Güemes, Salta. Just as Marty, I also go to a technical school and I'm planning on studying physics and public policy in the US.
All right, so that's the 4 of them. I'll go back to sharing my screen, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over the application form, and we're going to stop in certain specific moments where I'll be asking you guys, the Opportunity Fund students from this year, to give advice on certain specific areas, which are the ones that we generally get questions, right? Or the ones that sometimes students need to get an idea of examples, right? So for example, what is we talked about extracurricular activities. Okay, so we are going to learn a lot about that today through their experience. So as I'm going to go back to sharing screen for just a second. Am I sharing screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, the correct screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you're going to find all the information in our website, but the application form, you can find it here, right? You can find it in our website, or you can find it in this link or in this QR code. We strongly suggest that you don't do everything in a sitting. We strongly suggest that you read everything all the information that is available on the website and the form in detail, right? So that you don't make any mistakes, right? The first mistake we get is people answering the form in Spanish. If you answer the form in Spanish, you are automatically disqualified. So please read everything carefully. And having said that, what I'm going to do is share the actual application form. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing again. Sorry about that, but all right. So we're going to show you the back end of the application form because you're not going to see this, right? Okay. All right, so what we see already is that 15 people have already applied. Those are very brave people, right? So the first section, you're going to see that the application has different sections, right? So the first section, there's a big section on the what we just mentioned, right? The what is the Opportunity Fund Scholarship, what it is not, what it includes, what it doesn't include, right? And general guidelines. So please read those. We have covered those, but specifically look the deadline, the date, the time, okay? General requirements that you have to read in, oops, I found something that I have to change, but I'll change it in a second. So we're going to change it with you guys. So if you have any questions, you're going to write an email to argentina@educationusa.org. That's our new email address for questions, for general questions about the Opportunity Fund Scholarship. So there it is. So the first part has to do with general information about you, okay? So full name, preferred name, bueno, typical questions that we need from you, okay? We're going to stop at one. Wait. That has to do with, well, so the first is family information and personal information. We need that information, right? We're trying to see who you are as a whole, and your family is included in that profile, right? If your parents went to school, if your parents went to university, right? That's information that is important to us to determine your student, your profile as a student, right? So second part, the second section has to do with your high school, okay? So is it public? Is it a public school? Is it a private school? It's privada con subvención. You can write it in the other section, right? What kind of orientation? We have added this question this year. Okay, we have tried to include all of them, right? Now I'm seeing that maybe I should have added arts. But if your orientation is not there, write it in other, okay? And we'll make sure to include it next year. We have added this question because we think it's important also to determine your orientation as a student, right? The province of your high school. And you're going to see that we are going to ask many questions regarding your financial situation. One of them is the cost of your high school, okay? Why are we asking all these very personal questions regarding your financial information? Because this is a financial aid scholarship. It's both. It's an academic scholarship and it's also a financial aid scholarship. So we have to make sure that you fit the financial aid profile. Okay, so that's why you're going to see there are many, and some people might say, oh, that's very personal, but we need that kind of information, right? To try to establish that profile, okay? So the cost of your high school, if you receive a scholarship, if it's a private school, if you receive a scholarship there, and your expected graduation date, which is, oh, look what I found, December 2025, okay? So, what is your GPA? Yes, el promedio, okay? Generally, schools have a GPA from 1 to 10. We have heard of schools not having the 1 to 10 scale. If that's your situation, you can answer here that, I mean, you can tell us that information there, okay? This, as you can see, it's a long answer text. So you can add that extra information if you need to say that, okay? Your class ranking, many schools do abanderados, escoltas, taking into account your GPA, okay? So if that's the case of your schools, this is the moment to do that. If they don't do that, you just write, my school doesn't do class ranking, okay? These IB courses, AP or A levels, if your school offers those, you write yes. If not, I mean, if these names don't ring a bell, it means that probably your school doesn't offer it. Okay, these courses. Okay, so now this is where we're going to stop, and we're going to read this in detail. Okay, so it says, list any volunteering extracurricular activities, such as other language classes, church groups, clubs, or sports you have participated in during your high school years. Please describe how long, when you participated in said activities, including what you have accomplished. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to ask any of you guys, Mia, Martina, Aixa, Martina, Fernandez, if you want to share a couple of your extracurricular activities or any, let's start with this. The two Martinas, could you share some examples? And then Mia and Aixa, could you start thinking of pieces of advice when, when listing these extracurricular activities? Marti Fernandez, yes.
Okay, yeah, to start off, I remember that I listed all my meals activities. I really love doing Mode of United Nations, and I remember that I wrote something of like I did 7 meals and I gained 8 amount of awards, for example. Also, I remember that I did any other extracurricular activity regarding to like physical activity. So I list that as well, like going to the gym and stuff. But it was something like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you listed some other very interesting activities. Like you had an exchange. Could you tell us more about your exchange program?
Yeah. Specifically, I listed all my scholarships. First, I gained a scholarship for going to Brazil for 3 months. I gained a scholarship for doing a program from the Yale University. I also participated doing a research program where I researched about gender issues and its cultural nuances between Brazil and Argentina. So they were really relevant, and I put them first.
Thank you, Marti. And what about you, Marti?
Well, in my case, I listed some volunteering groups that I joined during high school. For example, Cruz Roja Argentina, but also Techo. I also mentioned that I coordinated and participated first in a program from Youth for Climate Argentina, where we mentor like over 100 participants nationally. That's important to include, like numbers and the impact that you have in the activities that you do. And those were some, but there were many more. I'm sure that you also have so many to write about. Also take into consideration that other type of perhaps tasks, such as taking care of a family member or something like that, also counts here, and you can include that.
Thank you, Marti. And Mia, Aixa, any pieces of advice for those people who, you know, they have done a lot and they don't know how to start with this task, or the other way around, who say, I don't do anything. So what can you say to those people?
Well, like, even if you did lots of stuff or you didn't, the most important thing about the extracurricular list, I believe, is to really sell yourself or tell about your role in that activity. Like, I was on the UN club, but what did I do in the UN club? Like, I organized models and I was a participant, and all that is the key aspect of the extracurricular list. I believe that is the most important thing.
Thank you, Mia. What about you, Aixa?
I would say when listing your activities, don't think about what you like, is this going to sound good? Like, was this a great thing? Just think if that was important to you, you should list it. Even if it wasn't like academic, when it comes to extracurriculars, it's any kinds of stuff. I remember myself when I was filling the form, I was asking my mom, oh, should I include this? And she said, yeah, you should. And I said, no, this is not important enough. And then while I was talking to the advisor, she said, oh, no, like actually this is great. Just it doesn't mean it's like all academics. It can be like even if you like writing, reading, learning languages, any kind of activities that is relevant to you, you should add it. Don't think about what the people that is reading your application is expecting from you.
Yeah. I think that Aixa mentioned something very important here. It's what is relevant for you, and it's specifically what you do when you're not doing schoolwork, right? When you're not doing mandatory things for school. An internship that is mandatory to graduate, that's not an extracurricular activity, right? But a volunteering activity that you're doing, it is, right? Sometimes you just write for fun because you love writing, or I don't know, it could be anything. Whatever you do after school that you do for fun, or because you enjoy it, or because you derive a lot of pleasure, or because you're very passionate about, that's what you should be including, okay? Remember that if you haven't participated in one of our 5-step sessions, you should. But remember that universities in the United States want to see you as a person as a whole, okay? They don't just want students who are, they get all 10s at school. They'd rather have a student who has all 9s or 8s or 7s, but who has a life after school and who does all these other interesting things. Because if you have a life after school, right, and you do other things, then you'll be able to get involved in the campus life. You'll have a lot more to offer to the university than just being a good student. Okay, you'll be very interesting as a candidate. So bear that in mind. It's very important for us to know what are those things that you do. If you don't have time to do fun stuff because you have to take care of your siblings, because your mom and dad have to work, right? That's also important for us, because we see, okay, she or he doesn't have a lot of time to have fun, but look, he shows responsibility, right? By having these responsibilities, by maybe some people have to work, right? So all those things you do after work will be very important. After your school will be important for us. So we'll go on with the application form. Okay, so list any volunteering extracurricular activities. We just saw that. And then in a second, we're going to talk about space. You don't have a lot of space here to write about things. So our Opportunity Fund students, please think of tips that you can give, things you did to maximize that space that you have there. So this is a question of, I mean, in this question, you just have to tell us what of all these activities is important for you and why. Okay, what you learn from them. Okay, very straightforward. Here, the following is if you work. So maybe if you work, you might not want to list that in the extracurricular section. There's a section specifically devoted to work. Okay, so if you work, if you do a part-time job, if you do an informal job, this is the moment for you to tell us. Okay, so then there's a section of the awards. Okay, have you won any awards either in school or outside school for any activities? Please describe any achievements you're proud of, formal or informal here. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. Could you guys tell us what you wrote there and how you handled having a very limited space to cover all the fantastic things you've accomplished? Who wants to take this?
I was reviewing my application
Okay.
and it was hard. You know, you don't have the space to tell what you've done in that program, that award specifically. But I put like the name of the program, selected for won X award, 6 distinctions, second place, first place, and just the name of the program because you have very limited space. So you gotta be like very mindful with that.
Mm-hmm. Any other piece of advice or example you want to share with us, Aixa?
Oh, sorry.
What happened to me is that I didn't understand what exactly award meant. I thought it meant like just like exactly like award, like an actual thing or a medal or something. But you can list as a word anything in which you have been selected among a certain group of people, just like, I don't know, being representative in UN models or councils and stuff like that. For example, I remember that I also listed an honor which I got in one of my high school years, in which I got an award for having like the best GPA, which also counts.
Mm-hmm. Anything that, as Aixa, you put it very well, it's anything you were selected from a group of people, right? Or it could even mean other things, right? But that's basically the idea. Okay. Any other tips for maximizing space? Anything we're missing?
Regarding writing, like the list of awards, I really recommend not only the list of awards, like every question on this form, like you should copy and paste these questions on, I don't know, a Google Doc and start like answering there. So you can actually count your words and do all there, like, because so as not to lose your progress and also to be more organized. Like I remember doing this form in a Google Doc and then transferring everything into the form.
Mm-hmm. That's a good tip, actually. Good. And now we're going to pass on to the leadership question. And before we read it and we give examples, we're going to tell you why we're looking for people with a leadership activities or with leadership roles. Studying in the US requires a lot of leadership, meaning a lot of this go-getter attitude, this attitude where you go whatever you need, you go and get it, right? Because studying in the US as an international student will mean that you will have to go get stuff for yourself. It's hard to be an international student, right? You have a lot of support from universities. And there's a lot of different services for international students. But we have to make sure that you're going to take good advantage of those services and those opportunities that are there. So we need and universities also look for those profiles. They look for people who get involved, who are go-getters, who like being role models. So let's read the leadership activities section. Okay, I'm going to share screen again. So it goes like this: leadership activities. Please list and describe activities in which you have had a central leadership role. And we like to say an active role, right? Being a student is kind of it could be it's kind of a passive role, right? Of course, you can be very active in your process of studying, right? But we're looking for those activities where you had a very active role. So describe activities where you have had a main role, for example, starting a new business, president of a student union at your school, church groups, scouts, and we need information about those activities. So could you girls share your leadership activities that you listed, some examples?
Again, first of all, I discovered Opportunity Fast the day that the deadline closed. So I myself had to fill the form really fast. And again, at the time, I didn't understand exactly what it all meant. So I myself only listed 2 things, which was I was president of the student council, and I was also member of the municipal youth council. But looking back, I see that I could, for example, also have listed that I created a volleyball group, a volleyball club. That was a leadership activity that I did not realize it was at the time.
Another thing, like I remember putting there, if you have done any project at school, if your school is a technical school and you have done projects and you are in the area of STEM, like describing your role as a project manager or something like that also counts in this category. So you should definitely write it down as I did.
I think that an additional advice would be like, when you hear like leadership, leader, those kind of words you hear, that you go directly into things like a president, a founder, something like that kind of stuff. But a leader can be found anywhere. Is any person that has like an initiative, that designs something, that sees a necessity and they do something about it. So don't close like your perception to this only thing, I think that it will be something really valuable to know.
Exactly. That's very well put. And I think it has to do with Caro's question. Caro is saying, having an entrepreneurship shows my leadership, or is it more relevant being a student in the student council? Well, Martina just answered, right? Whatever position, whatever thing that you do that shows your initiative, that shows you making decisions, you actively doing stuff, that for us is a leadership activity. Okay. We're good. Shall we go on? I don't know. The other Marty, I think she had to go. I think so. I don't see her. Oh, no, yeah, she had to go. Okay, cool. So let's go on with the language proficiency section. Okay. This is pretty straightforward, actually, but we want to know. Are you seeing the form? Okay. So how would you rate your own level of English? If you have taken any proficiency exam, please list your scores here. So, of course, if you have taken proficiency exams, put put those there, put your scores. We are aware that this is a financial aid scholarship and that you may not have been able to sit for any of those exams, okay? So if you're in doubt, ask your teachers, you know. Sometimes you can check the level of English that, you know, the level of English that you're using in your book. Always, when in doubt, ask a teacher. Also, there are online tests, level like that test your level, that are for free. So you could take one of those if you're in doubt. I don't remember if any of you, I think all of you had taken exams. Am I wrong? I don't know. Don't remember. No, you didn't take an exam. So what did you write? Do you remember?
I have my form here.
Okay.
I wrote, I wrote that I finished the B1 level. I didn't like take an exam, but I finished it. And I wrote, I believe my English level is higher due to the practice and the experience with international students that I had, and that I considered it to be a C1.
Okay, and she and she was
So
right.
confident.
Okay, then when she took her exams, it was actually that was actually her level. So we trust you. Of course, then when we do the interviews, we check that that level is actually the level, and then if you pass on to the boot camps moment, right? You might be involved in activities where we'll be testing your English level. Okay, so it's important for us that not having sat for any of this international exam is not a limit for you to apply to the Opportunity Fund Scholarship. We are going to find ways to see what your level of English is, because we know that this is a financial aid scholarship. So we're not expecting you to sit for these very costly exams. Okay, so this part I love. We ask you, okay, where you have studied English, but we ask you if you read any books, magazine, newspapers, or blogs, right? Anything that is in English that you generally read. For us, it's very important, and I end up learning a lot in this section. When I find an interesting candidate, I end up learning a lot. And we also want to know if you have ever traveled to the US or any other English-speaking country, and when and for what purpose. We are aware that this is a financial aid scholarship, right? But sometimes there are students who travel to an English-speaking country because they have won a scholarship, right? So whatever you've done, please include it there, okay? We are super eager to know that information as well. And then, as I said before, Section 4 has to do with your your family's financial circumstances. So you're going to see that there are lots of, these are very straightforward. The job of your guardians, the amount they make a month, sources of income, any other additional sources of income. If you have retired parents, if you have brothers or sisters, if those brothers or sisters work, do you live with both parents? Are your parents separated? That has to do with the financial situation, right? Because it's not the same to have two different houses and to have to support two different houses than just one. If any relatives live with you, right, that's also a financial burden in your family. So we need to know that. If you own your apartment or house, if you rent, all this, you're going to see that there are a lot of questions, right? And we ask this, and we tell you this. We are very we insist a lot that this should be true information, right? Because then when we pass on to, if you are chosen to be an Opportunity Fund student, we make you sign a document where you say, look, this is all this information is true, And if we end up learning that maybe that information is not true, you'll be automatically eliminated, right? So try to answer these questions as truthfully as you can. We are aware that sometimes there's some information that you don't have, but please try to answer this as completely as you can, okay? And this question, I'm going to answer something that we get a lot. How much can your family contribute in dollars per year to your education in the US? Okay. So if your family cannot contribute any funding, it is acceptable to put 0. Okay. Of course, if you're a family that goes to Disney, to the US every year or twice a year, right? And then you write 0 there, we're not going to trust that 0, right? And of course, if you have come from a very dire financial circumstance, and you write that you can contribute $10,000 a year, that will be weird for us. We have seen that. So make sure that you have conversations with your family, okay? And that before answering this, talk to your family, right? Don't write any number just because. Make an educated guess, okay? And that's what we say. Okay, study goals. What field or fields of study interest you and why? Remember that this is we would just want to know. You can change what your study goal is in the future. So this is not carved in stone. So this is just for us to know what your general interests are, okay? What are your plans and goals after finishing college? How would studying in a US university help you achieve those goals? Okay. Of course, if you want to go and live in the US and that's your main goal, write that. We are looking for other kinds of goals in life, not just go and live in the US. Okay. So this question is important for us. We want to see a mature answer here. Okay. Of course, those goals can change, right? But how do you see, what do you see yourself doing in the US while you're studying there? Okay. And this, what universities interest you and why? We'd rather you choose 1 or 2 and explain why, right? Than you giving us a list of 10 universities, right? So I'm going to stop sharing here and I want to hear from you guys, Mia, Aixa, Martina. What do you have to say about this question?
Oh, sorry. Given the time at which you're being asked this question, like when you're filling this form, you're not close enough to the application period, but you have to start thinking which universities are more like your type. Like, would I fit in this university? Like, would I do I see myself here? These are some questions that you can start thinking when you start researching universities. Of course, like as you're just starting, I don't believe that you should be like definitely this university and definitely this university, because things can change, your desired major can change, but you have to start thinking in which kind of environment you see yourself succeeding. So that is what you should have in mind when researching for universities.
Yeah, I think that continuing a little bit with what Mia said about like the perfect fit. When we think about universities, and at that moment I didn't have like an idea of US universities more than Harvard, Yale, Stanford. We all wanna get in, in that kind of universities because they're the most well known, of course. But I remember that at the moment of writing my application, I started to search in the internet, like good on universities in international relations, because I was interested in that. So I found the American University, I found lots of other universities with very good proposals. And I remember that in my application, I included these universities and I explained also why I was interested in them. So I think that my general advice would be like, open your perspective. All the IBs are excellent, they are super, but there's a ton of academic universities that will be perfect for you.
Thank you, Martin. Aixa, do you want to add anything?
I personally, since I filled it really fast, I remember I just didn't have so much time to research. But yeah, just like the girl said, also the universities that you're interested in shouldn't be like the top, like rank one in the major that you decide. Shouldn't be like only, yeah, I want to study engineering, so I'm just gonna go for this amazing engineering university. Really, the US universities are so diverse and there are so many that really, when it comes to like ranking by major, it doesn't really matter. I think you should be looking at like doing just a little research on what the life is, maybe where it's located. But just like the girls say, don't marry a university.
Thank you, Aixa. And we're going to pass on to the creative writing tasks. Okay, so the creative writing part is very important for us. Ya dije eso 3 veces, right? This part is very important because the application process in the US means writing a lot. Okay, if you have been with us in any of our 5 steps, or if you're a college club student, you know already that applying to universities in the US takes a lot of writing. You have to write personal essays, your personal statement. You have to write for each university that you're applying to. If you're part of an Opportunity Funds scholarship, right, you're probably applying to universities that require extra essays, right? Supplemental essays, that's the word I was fishing for. So you'll have to write. If you don't like writing, you'll have to become friends with writing, right? And if you like writing, well, you'll have fun. So, or not, or maybe you'll decide that, oh, now I hate writing, right? So, but it will take a lot of writing on your end. So this is the moment where you'll also discover how much you like writing and how much you like writing about yourself. Because it is writing and not any kind of writing. We're not telling stories about other people. You are writing and reflecting on yourself. And that sometimes can be super easy or very difficult, depending on your personality. So we try to make this fun with some fun questions and more deeper questions. So we're going to go over the general questions, and then I'm going to ask for some examples and suggestions on your end, girls. So I'll go back to sharing screen. Okay, so if you could meet any famous person in history, who would it be and why? So famous person in history, generally, it means people who are no longer with us, okay? So don't write Lady Gaga. I would love to meet her, but she will be a famous person in history, but not yet, okay? So, yeah. Then reflect on an idea or experience that makes you genuinely excited about learning. We want to know of those moments when you start learning something and that you forget that you're doing schoolwork. Or maybe it's not schoolwork, it's something that you love learning and you learn by chance and you love learning about, right? And it's not schoolwork. Well, why? Tell us those stories, right? How did you spend your last 2 summers? That's just for us to know what you do for fun. Don't tell me I did 100 courses on microbiology. Maybe you did that, okay? But this is a question more to see what you do when you have free time, okay? So don't overdo the academic part. What's your favorite word and why? We love that. I love that question in particular. If you have, this is a new one we added last year. If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why? And then an optional task. And I'm going to read it, right? In most universities, virtually all freshmen live on campus and have roommates. Write a note to your future roommate that reveals something about you or that will help your roommate and us to get to know you better, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing screen, and now I want pieces of advice from the three of you, because the three of you write very well. So tell us more.
Okay, I loved writing this while I was applying. I really enjoyed it myself. In general, I believe the best advice I can give you is the same that I gave while I was talking about extracurricular activities. Don't think about what the person reading your application is expecting from you, but instead try to express yourself. Just be yourself. For example, on the little essay about reflect on an idea or experience that makes you genuinely excited about learning, I just wrote art and literature and explained why I liked art and literature. Maybe I just didn't have like an amazing and deep reason. I just really enjoyed it, and I explained that, well, since I was young, I like to write little poems, and just gave a little explanation on that. But really, my best advice would be yourself. This is actually the place where the advisors that you see right here can get to know you, and you really want to be yourself.
Thank you, Aixa. Mia, Martina, maybe examples of what you wrote or any other piece of advice.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Martina.
Okay, thank you. I was reading my essay, and that point where it says reflect on an idea that makes me excited about learning. I first started not straight with the thing that I was excited to learn. Reading this part, I included a quote of my host mom in Brazil, something that she told me that really impacted like my perspective of things. And I connected that specific experience with the things that led me in a path to discover why I was interested in international relations, in learning languages and everything. So a great piece of advice that Aixa said is be authentic, you know, but that's something that sometimes is kind of tricky because you say, okay, how do I do that, you know? And you can include these personal things, quotes, music. I remember that I wrote my personal essay. I included a Gustavo Cerati's song and how it deeply resonated with me. Like these kind of little personal connections that make you unique. That's actually what makes you authentic and makes you stand out in a ton of other applicants, you know? So I think that before like going straight to writing, think about the specific things that could make you like highlight your application and these different things, you know, and take your time. Don't make all the application in a sit. Maybe take 2 to 3 weeks, write, improve, and also ask for feedback. That's really important. So send your essays to friends, to different people that might be maybe in the environment of academic writing that may help you a lot. Because sometimes, you know, for me, this is super clear, but for someone that doesn't know me, they don't know what I meant in that statement, you know? So take time, feedback, and be authentic. I think they will be in general terms.
Thank you. Mia, any other last piece of advice or any other example? Maybe, do you remember what you wrote in the genuinely excited about learning? So that's so that we give them different examples.
I definitely have my Word document here with all these creative tasking, creative task. So as I was going to say that task on reflecting on an idea or experience and make you genuinely excited about learning is one that is also open to like your creativity, because what I wrote is I started writing about commuting and how to go to school, how to travel long hours on the bus. So and I connected that with like education and how it is what I'm most grateful for, and my grandmother being a teacher and all that. So you can be creative, like you can get to the point that you're being asked, but from anywhere. And in the, I don't know, what's your favorite word? I made a riddle, like I made like a kind of riddle, and the word was time, but I never mentioned the word. So you can be creative with these tasks. That's why they are here. I don't know if you want me to share it, or would you, Carol, want me to do that, or I don't know.
It's fine. It's just like, it's just give them examples, right? So you don't need to share the whole thing. But yes, exactly that. You don't need to just and we appreciate it when you just when you don't directly answer the question, right? If you could meet, but we also appreciate it when you complete the task, because sometimes students get so hung up on the metaphor they created, or in this, riddle or whatever, that they never answer the task correctly. So there's a fine line between doing both things. The most the applications that we enjoyed the most are the ones that we feel are fresh, and where we feel that this is a conversation we are having with you. So we appreciate it when you really try to be yourself. Aixa?
Yeah, to everyone out there like here who are interested in applying, you can see that there is not like a kind of person that gets the scholarship. You see that the three of us answer really different things. For example, Mia said that she liked to not answer the question directly, and all the questions, my answer was in the first line, and I for example, in the if you could meet any famous person in history, who would it be and why? I answered that it would be Leonardo da Vinci, because I've always been a person that likes to do a lot of things, and Leonardo da Vinci for me was the perfect example that you can be a great artist and at the same time a great scientist. So again, I think our examples just prove that the point is being authentic. The three of us are really different, and I think the point is showcasing our authenticity, not trying to be something else.
And it's also a great exercise for the actual application to universities in the US, because those students who get selected are those students who have it's easy for them to show who they are, and who have, who are good at forgetting what they want me to say and being themselves. And look, this is me. You might like it or not. I mean, be respectful, right? But this is me. This is the things I like. This is how I get things done. This is why I love this university, and why I don't. I like this very famous person in history. You might not know this. You might not know this person. We love it when students make us Google stuff. I know who Marie Curie is. Many people say that they love Marie Curie and would love to have a conversation with her, but that's not the only woman in history, right? Or I don't know, the other one. Well, Marie Curie is the typical one. So just be yourself, and it could be, you don't have to find the person or the word. It's just about your explanation, right? That makes it interesting for us. Okay, so it could be a very simple word, it could be somebody we don't know much about in history, right? But it will be what your justification for choosing that is important for us. Okay, I don't know if any of the advisors or Mia, the Opportunity Fund students have any last advice regarding writing?
I think that I have one thing that I forgot to
Mhm.
mention regarding to the part of the activities where you mention your activities. Sometimes you have like a space for developing why this is important to you. Show, don't tell is something that I've been hearing during the last year. So don't tell, I just did this. Okay, perfect. But show the impact, show your values, show what you learned from that, show like the whole story, why this is important to you, why it was, or why you will continue doing it in the present, you know? So it's something that will be like general throughout your whole application. That.
Any last piece of advice about the whole process? We're reaching the end now. Well, I didn't show you. I'm going to show you the last part of the application, which is the easiest, I think. So in the last section of the application, you will have to read this, right? And the e-signature is just write your name, okay? You don't have to include a picture of your signature. We've seen that. You don't have to do that. The date, how did you learn about the program, right? And that's it, okay? And then you have to hit submit. So before leaving and before I share my last pieces of advice, do you guys or the other advisors have any last minute suggestions about the whole application process?
I would say don't be nervous to show who you are. We just want to get to know you. And another thing I would say is just go ahead and apply. Sometimes we get in our head if we, will be selected or not. Just apply. You never know.
What I would say is that don't be nervous to because sometimes you compare yourself. When you start hearing my stories or Martina's stories or Aixa's stories, you start to compare yourself, but try to know yourself and tell who you are. Like don't compare yourself at all, and trust yourself that if you want to study in the US, just show that and show who you are and why do you deserve that, and you'll do things right.
I think that I'd say that it's normal to feel overwhelmed during the process, to feel that sometimes I'm not good enough, as Mia said. It's something that's totally normal, but the only important thing is just to try it, I don't want to think in the future and regret of the things that I didn't do. So I think that failure also is the only thing that takes to success. So this means nothing maybe in the future for you, but just try.
Thank you, Marti. So I'm going to, I don't know, Maria, do you want to say anything? Yeah.
Just add a little thing that is that this is a learning process too, so take it as it is. No matter if you are chosen or not, you are learning to apply and trust yourself. There is.
Thank you, Maria. And let me share my last pieces of advice, and we'll have a couple of minutes for questions. Am I sharing screen? You're seeing my screen? Yeah. I don't know why I keep doubting. Okay, so try to attend. That's Juliano there. He is from Córdoba and he was admitted to Pomona College. I think this is his last year. Or next year will be his last year. I have to check. But yeah, he's from Córdoba and he's studying in Pomona College in California, right? So attend a 5-step session if you haven't attended one. We will be doing one in December, the second week of December. But you can also watch one on YouTube. It's very important that you learn what the application process to universities in the US is like before completing your application. So I cannot stress this enough. If you haven't done that, do it, okay? Of course, read all the instructions and supporting material carefully. The supporting material includes all the information that is in our website. So our website has a frequently asked questions section. It has the schedule section. It has the webinars. This webinar will be there as well. So make sure if you write an email, you can write emails to us asking questions. But if you write an email to us with 5 questions, right? And out of those 5 questions, 4 of them are on the website, we will have a problem, right? Why? Because one of the important things in the application process to universities in the US is doing a lot of research in the websites of universities. And we're testing that as well. So make sure that you take it. But of course, you can ask questions, write to us, come to office hours, ask anything you need to. Just double check our website first and the application form to see if the answer is not there. Tip for life, okay? Don't rush to apply, proofread, and this is something we just recently added. Be extremely careful if you decide to use AI for your application, right? Don't ask ChatGPT to write your essay on the famous person in history because ChatGPT doesn't know who you are, okay? So if you get, first, we are English teachers. All of us already kind of get the feeling, de esto está escrito por la computadora. We know. I mean, it's just instinct. It's teacher instinct. Some are very good at using it. I use it to edit. Sometimes I write something and I ask GPT to edit, to correct it. If I, sometimes I repeat words. So it gives me alternatives, right? You can do that. We strongly encourage you to maybe try and do it, but do not use it to write your essays, because if you apply to universities in the US and you use ChatGPT, they already have ways to tell. And if they tell and if they can tell, you'll be directly eliminated, automatically eliminated. They are very good and they have the software to do that. We don't have the software, but we have the interviews, right? So if we ask you something and if we doubt that something you wrote, you didn't write it, right? We're going to ask you about that. And if your answer doesn't match what you wrote, that's weird, okay? So careful with the use of artificial intelligence when you're writing any kind of application. And last but not least, just go for it, all right? If you are in doubt about your profile, if you don't know, just apply anyway. We don't mind reading 20 more applications, right? We love it. We love learning about you and about your profiles and we want people from all parts of the country. So go tell everybody, tell your friends, tell your cousins, tell everybody about this opportunity, because we want to see the country represented in the US. And this is a way of doing so, okay? So, and remember that we're here to help you. You can write to us, you can come to office hours, but remember that office hours will be available until December. Then in January, we won't be having office hours. So if you need to ask us anything, do so in December. And in January, you can write to us, okay? At argentina@educationusa.org, okay? Any questions that you might have, to any of the advisors, or argentina@educationusa.org. Okay, so questions. We don't have a lot of time for questions, really. But let's see. I read a very important question before. Catherine asked, she's not here anymore, but we'll answer it anyway. How much money does the Opportunity Fund scholarship grant? Okay, so we don't give you money. Okay, we pay for expenses. So You have to sit for an international exam to prove your level of English. We pay for that, okay? There are application fees. We pay for those application fees. If you have to travel to Buenos Aires to sit for the SAT exam, of course, we pay for the SAT exam and we pay the travel expenses for you to come to sit for the exam. That's the kind of thing we do. We don't give you money to spend, okay? That's important for you to know. And then what we do is we help you apply to those universities that have the ability to give you full scholarships, okay? To give you these very famous scholarships where they pay everything for you. That's what we do. We work together with you so that you apply to a package of universities so that you can maximize your opportunities to get those scholarships, okay? But
Caro, we are not hearing you. We lost the connection. If you have any questions, we can keep going until Caro comes back.
I think where Caro was going was that there's not a specific amount of money that's given, but that everything is paid for. And when we talk about how much money you need to study in the US, all of that depends on the university that you choose. Every university is a little bit different. And the fact that our objective for the opportunity students, as well as any student that we work with, is to try to get as much scholarship money as possible as you know, as the universities are willing to give. That's the idea, is that we help you to make sure that you have everything done correctly so that you have the best possible opportunity to receive scholarships from the universities that you've selected to where to apply to as possible. So those are kind of important things to take advantage of. And Marco asks how many scholarships were given last year. The opportunity funds, there were 4 students which were selected, which generally it ends up being around that number because of the amount of funds obviously that are required to cover everything for the students. So generally there are 4 students who are chosen for the opportunity funds scholarship. So I don't see any other questions, Vale, in the chat.
No.
So I guess just know if there are any other questions that come up, that come into our virtual office hours or send us emails, or we're available.
Thank you so much. Well, the Opportunity Fund students, both Martys, Aixa and Mia, it's great to hear your experience. And as Kathy said, if you have any questions, let us know. We are here to help.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you very much for your experiences. It meant a lot.
Thank you so much. Goodbye and good luck.
And for those who are applying, we hope that everybody applies. All the people that have attended, please do so. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.